Hi there, it's Claudia here. I want to speak to you about eternal life. Now, I have never in all my years of doing missionary work come across somebody who said to me they're going to hell. Everyone always says, of course I'm going to heaven, I'm a good person. I spoke to someone from a different culture once and he said to me, but of course I'm going to heaven, I've got a medical aid and I've got a pension fund. Because in his culture, that means he has a permanent job, and that makes him a very respectable person. And I've often pondered this thing. What is it? How do we know that we are good people? What measure are we using? I'm using the measure of my culture. In my culture, I'm a good person. If I don't murder, I've got a job, I've got a house, I've got a car. In other cultures, there are different standards. So what is the real standard? What would I do to measure my goodness? And I've come to the conclusion there's only one standard, one universal standard, and that's God's standard. And according to God's standard, there are no good people. There isn't one whose goodness measures up to God's goodness. If your goodness measures up to God's goodness, you can go straight to heaven. But we don't, we fall short. And because of that, God had to make a way for us to spend eternity with Him. And what He had to give was a human being that was perfect. That is why God the Son left heaven, came to earth to be born as a man, and was the perfect man without sin, who was prepared to pay the price for our sin and die on the cross. And we always make a big thing about the fact that Jesus hung on the cross. He had nails driven through his body. He was beaten. His beard was plucked out. He was spat upon. But what about his spiritual agony of having your sin and my sin placed upon him? Every sin that was ever committed and will ever be committed from the beginning of time until the end of time, and to have him punished for it, and to have God turn his back on him, and that fellowship between them to be broken, and that he would cry out in agony, my God, why have you forsaken me? And then to know that he would go into hell and take the key of death and life away, the key of death away from Satan, and for God to say, the price has been paid, it is acceptable to me, and to bring Jesus out of the grave with a new body and with never to die again. He's the first one who would never die again. And he offers this to us free of charge. We can't work for it. I have people who stand on my street corner every day trying to convert people to their sect by handing out tracts, by talking to them, because the harder they work, the more chance they have in their own minds of getting eternal life. And I feel sad for them because we can't earn it. How can my puny little service compare to what it cost God to hang on the cross? Because it was God who hung on the cross. And so I'm offering it to you today free of charge, to come as you are, to realize I cannot bring about my own goodness, my own salvation. I have to come as I am and ask Jesus to forgive me my sin and to come live in my heart